Hello, Jenny Kassan here with you today to lay down the law about all the secrets, tips, and tricks for how you can raise money for your business on your own terms and do it in compliance with the law. So what I want to share with you today is something that we call a quick start raise. So we often have clients coming to us wanting to raise money. And of course, there's always this catch-22 where it's like, oh my gosh, I totally need to raise money and I have no money to pay you for services, for legal services. So we're always trying to come up with creative ways to get some money in the door quickly. And it's challenging because really you don't want to raise money without the right legal tools and legal compliance in place, which means you probably need a lawyer. And of course, lawyers cost money. But there is this thing that we call a quick start raise, which can get you some money in the door with fairly minimal legal work that will then allow you to get money in the door from investors that then you can use that money to maybe do a more extensive plan and more complicated way of raising money, more well thought out way of raising money for a larger amount, so maybe you get like 15, 20,000 in the door using a quick start raise, and then you can use that money to say, okay, now I have a little breathing room, let's plan the bigger raise, which could be like several $100,000 or $1 million. So the trick to a quick start raise is you want to choose the legal tools that are easiest to use. So, and there's two parts of the legal puzzle when you're trying to raise money. One is the agreement that you have with your investors. So exactly, what are the investors getting? What are the terms of the investment? There has to be some kind of written document between you and your investors for the investment to be properly documented. And then there's the legal compliance piece, which is because raising money from investors is a highly regulated activity, there's always going to be federal and state compliance requirements that you have to deal with that you have to think about before you start bringing in money from investors. So with a quick start raise, what you can do is what you can offer to investors can be a very simple promissory note. So basically your investors would be lending you money. This is a very simple document to create. There's all kinds of templates online for promissory notes. Basically, they're lending you money. You can pay them back. You can set how long you're going to take to pay them back as long as you want. You can say like the first 2 years are interest only payments, and then after that you start paying back principal. So you can do it in a way that's going to be attractive to them. So I would set like at least a 5% interest rate or maybe a little higher to make it attractive to the investors. But you can make it so that, you don't have to pay back the full amount for a while until you think you're going to, for the amount of time it's going to take for you to be able to actually make enough money in your business to pay them back. So that's the piece about what you would offer to the investors in a quick start raise. And then in terms of the legal compliance piece, there's lots of different legal compliance strategies you can use when raising money, but there's one which we call, under federal law, we call it Rule 504. And under Rule 504, if you do a private offering, which means you're not publicly advertising the fact that you're raising money, you're just having one-on-one conversations with people to ask them to invest, you can actually raise up to $5 million and anyone can invest. So you can ask people who aren't wealthy investors, aka what we call, under the law, accredited investors. So under Rule 504, you can have anyone invest and you can raise up to $5 million. The only tricky thing with that is there's state level compliance that you have to do. So if you don't feel the need to only work with, if you don't feel the need to be able to talk to both accredited and unaccredited investors, you might want to choose a different strategy where where you wouldn't have to worry as much about the state level piece. But under Rule 504, what's awesome is that anyone can invest. You can talk to anyone you want. You can raise up to 5 million, and you do have to do a state level compliance. Now, the good news is that the state level compliance under Rule 504 is usually incredibly easy. The thing is, you have to check the law of the state where your investor is located. In most states, like California, for example, almost all states except the ones that I can think of that are exceptions are Washington State, New York, Connecticut. There's a few states where you do have to do a filing before you can take money from investors, but in most states you can actually take money before doing a filing. So that means that you could do you could offer the investment opportunity. You could actually have the investors sign the promissory note, give you money, and then quickly now hire a lawyer, because then you do have to do federal and possibly state filings, usually within 15 days. But hopefully by then you'll have the money. You can pay a lawyer to do that. So that's kind of my idea about how to bring in some money quickly and cheaply so that you can have the resources you need to do your bigger fundraising plan that might take a little bit more in terms of costs for legal services and other kinds of services. So that was my tip for the day. If you have any questions or comments, always feel free to leave them below or send me a direct message. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.